Imagine this. Young Thug, the man the streets crowned Slime King, sitting in an interrogation room for hours, smoking, eating, and telling cops everything they wanted to hear. That's the footage that just leaked, and it's flipping the whole YSL case on its head. Everybody called Gunna the snitch, but the leaked tape might prove the biggest rat in this YSL case was the man running it all along. And now, Gunna's using this to destroy Thug's image, even tying him to an Atlanta murder cover-up. So let's get into this leaked Young Thug interrogation tape, because this isn't some quick back and forth with the cops. This was over 2 hours of Thug sitting in custody, calmly talking like he had nothing to hide. Now, this whole thing didn't even start with the YSL case. Thug was originally picked up for some terroristic threats at a shopping mall, but the police made it clear, we're not pressing charges if you just talk to us. And instead of clamming up or asking for a lawyer, Thug agreed to sit down. He wouldn't sign a statement, but he kept answering questions, and that choice alone raised eyebrows. Here's what really stood out. First off, Thug sounded hella comfortable with the cops. Sure, they were playing him and pretending to be his buddy, but he also ordered food, got cigarettes, and he even got annoyed at the condiments they brought him. It sounded like he was hanging out at a diner with a bunch of friends and not talking to cops in an interrogation room. Listen to this.
That's mayonnaise.
Hopefully mustard not honey.
Oh, I mean mustard, that's what I mean, I'm sorry.
And if you know anything about how rappers move when the feds are watching, this wasn't normal behavior. Most people go silent. Thug was acting like this was just another business meeting, but then he started dropping names and things got heavy. He brought up Pee Wee Roscoe, the same man tied to the infamous 2015 Lil Wayne tour bus shooting. According to Thug, Roscoe used to carry Wayne's drugs and was the kind of guy who breaks the law every day.
That food, I'm like, you shot at somebody, bro? But I don't fucking know, cause every day nigga grow a ball. I don't know. I honestly don't know.
But when it came to who actually shot up the bus, Thug distanced himself real quick. He basically told police, that wasn't me. I didn't order that. That was Roscoe moving on his own. Now, depending on how you look at it, that's either Thug telling the truth, or it's him redirecting blame to keep himself out of a potential murder-for-hire case. And then came Birdman. Thug didn't hold back on airing out the tension between Birdman and Lil Wayne. He talked about their fallout, the $30 million Wayne was supposedly owed, and even questioned why Wayne was crying over the money in the first place, which is wild, because around that same time, people were already calling Thug the new Lil Wayne, since Birdman was rolling him out like Wayne's replacement.
He gave Wayne 70 million, and he owed him 30 million. He gave Drake 20 million, Nicki Minaj 10 million. He thought he had an understanding that he paid out the 100 million.
But here's where it gets interesting. Police weren't just curious about rap beef. They pressed him on his lyrics, asking if his bars were exaggerated or if they reflected real events. Thug danced around the answers, admitting some things were exaggerated while hinting that some were real. That kind of half-truth only makes the tape more damaging because it blurs the line between art and confession. And the more you listen, the more you realize this wasn't random questioning. The cops wanted to know one thing. Who put the battery in Pee Wee Roscoe's back? Who told him to go after Wayne? Who benefited from that beef escalating into bullets? And even though Thug tried to deflect, his words still put Birdman, YSL, and himself right in the middle of it. Now, the recent leaked audio of Young Thug's interrogation set the internet on fire, with fans quick to label him a snitch. But the story isn't that simple. Pee Wee Roscoe, who gets mentioned in the tape, publicly defended Thug, saying, Thug is clean as Listerine. If you ask Roscoe, Thug wasn't snitching. He was just following the interrogation rules, keeping it buck, and trying to help a close friend who caught heat. Roscoe thinks the audio was twisted by some dude who didn't hear the full context.
When I was locked up and Jeff was locked up, we went viral when they was like, that's the type of friend you want. He was like, man, Roscoe ain't told y'all the damn thing.
Thug himself has taken to social media to fight the narrative. On X, he wrote, they didn't play my interrogation video in court cause I helped my brother to ratwear. His point was that the audio was about helping someone close, not betraying anyone. Still, fans and critics are split. Some see hypocrisy, especially because of his beef with Gunna, who's also been accused of snitching back in the day. Let's call it as it is. This leak really shows the fine line rappers in these situations walk. In a world where loyalty is everything, even being honest in an interrogation can be twisted into betrayal, especially when you think about the YSL context in which this all is taking place. Some believe this whole tape is part of a bigger murder cover-up, and Thug's name is all over it. The murder cover-up angle. This is where the story turns brutal. The bigger picture behind Young Thug's case isn't just about music or one isolated crime. It's about a pattern of violence linked to YSL. Now, y'all know YSL operated for over a decade, orchestrating all kinds of nasty stuff. offing people, pushing dope, armed robberies, and witness intimidation, all while keeping that we're just a record label game going. Back in 2022, that infamous indictment hit 28 people tied to YSL with charges meant to strengthen the gang's power. Thug was accused of being a co-founder and proclaimed leader. From Cleveland Avenue to other parts of Atlanta, prosecutors say YSL youngins into a violent circle where illegal activity and music were mixed up. And here's the human cost. May 18, 2024 went down as a straight-up tragedy. A case of mistaken identity ended with a young mom dead and her 2-year-old watching it all unfold. Jamal Baker, a YSL gang member, and 2 co-conspirators unloaded more than 3 dozen rounds at a car they thought had a rival inside. But it wasn't. Inside was 21-year-old Najah Sapphire Cox and her baby. The kid was right there the whole time watching his mom bleed out, said the DA's assistant. This young lady had nothing to do with gang life, and she for sure wasn't a criminal. Now, if y'all wondering where this all comes from, well, it goes back to Lil Baby. The cops think this shooting was sparked by drama after Lil Baby shot his music video in the wrong neighborhood. Baker got slammed with life without parole plus 65 years, while his co-defendants are still waiting for their day in court. Now, this ain't just headlines. This is a real-life situation, which shows how YSL's street operations tear families apart and leave innocent people in the crossfire. And the flip side is that this mess could actually work in Gunna's favor. Hip-hop circles have long seen Thug as the OG, while Gunna got labeled a flip under pressure type. But with this case shining a spotlight on YSL's violent reach, Gunna can play it smart. By staying clean and showing he had nothing to do with deadly hits, he can quietly flip the script. Loyal, streetwise, but not reckless. Media and public perception are everything in this game, and Gunna's camp could use it. Interviews, social posts, even songlines can show he survived all this chaos without blood on his hands. The lesson? Being too close to the real action can be dangerous. Gunna could spin that as experience, not weakness, while keeping the focus on Thug as the head of a deadly enterprise. When Gunna stepped into court back in late 2022, it wasn't just another legal moment. It was one that would define his public image for years. He took what's called an Alford plea. For anyone not fluent in legal speak, that basically means, I'm not admitting I did it, but I know the evidence could probably convict me. It's a classic survival move in the legal game, but for the streets and hip-hop fans, nuance rarely sticks. In that courtroom, Gunna acknowledged something explosive. YSL wasn't just a music label, it was also a gang involved in violent crimes, from murders to drug trafficking. That acknowledgement, simple as it seemed, blew up online. The clip of him saying "yes ma'am" became his scarlet letter almost instantly. People such as Boozy called him out right away. People on social media ran with it, memes popped up, and suddenly he was the poster child for what it meant to snitch, even though legally he hadn't fingered anyone. That moment stuck to him like glue, following him across the whole internet. But let's break down the reality. Gunna didn't cooperate with prosecutors. He didn't testify against any YSL members. His plea deal was strategic, minimized jail time, avoided being dragged into trial testimony, and gave him a chance to get back to his life and music. And guess what? It worked. While young Thug stayed locked up, dealing with harsh conditions, noticeable weight gain, and health struggles, Gunna walked out and got back to building his career. That contrast alone fueled debates: loyalty versus survival, street code versus legal savvy. And here's where the double standard comes in. Multiple YSL members had taken plea deals or admitted to gang-related activity, but Gunna got roasted the hardest. While others quietly served their sentences or dealt with smaller public backlash, he became the lightning rod for criticism. Fans, media, and even rival artists questioned his loyalty. Why? Because in hip-hop culture, acknowledging gang ties, even as a legal necessity, is often interpreted as betrayal. And yet, anyone looking at the bigger picture sees the irony. Thug, the so-called real one, stayed behind bars longer and faced far more personal decline. Fan reactions were immediate and intense. Some saw Gunna as smart and adaptable, surviving a storm that could have sunk anyone. Others branded him a traitor, forgetting the strategic angle behind his court move. And it wasn't just fans. This split shaped how the wider hip-hop world perceived him. It's a complicated tightrope, walking between legality, loyalty, and what the public thinks. Then there's the career angle. Gunna's plea, harsh as it looked to outsiders, gave him a huge advantage. He got back into the studio, kept collaborations rolling, and maintained his momentum. Meanwhile, Thug's trajectory slowed, weighed down by jail time, health issues, and the endless headlines. It's a brutal contrast. One artist surviving and thriving after a plea, another trapped in a cycle of personal and legal struggles. And in the eyes of some fans, it even flipped the loyalty debate. If Thug was the real one, why was he the one spiraling while Gunna navigated the legal system and came out intact? The irony doesn't stop there. The leaked interrogation audio of Thug, where he appears calm, even relaxed, dropping names, it only added fuel to the fire. Now, we got two stories colliding. Gunna caught heat for a courtroom admission he strategically made, while Thug faced scrutiny for audio that made it seem like he was cozy with cops. The double standard was crystal clear. One was vilified for survival, the other critiqued for behavior that could be misread. It highlighted just how messy the lines are between street credibility, loyalty, and legal realities. Gunna's team knew this too. Every move since his plea has been about narrative control. Interviews, social media posts, and even song lyrics could subtly reinforce the idea. He survived the chaos without betraying anyone. He played the system smart, and that's a story some fans respect, even if others never forgive it. In the long run, it positions him as cautious, calculating, and adaptable, qualities that matter just as much as street cred when you're navigating the fallout of a high-profile RICO case. And this is where Gunna's supporters started pointing fingers back at Thug. If Thug is the real one, why did he take longer to face the music? And why has he struggled more behind bars? Why did Gunna, who got out early and is building his career, catch all this flack while others, including Thug, escaped much of the public heat? The questions are loaded and the answers aren't simple. But in the hip-hop world, this tension keeps the story alive. Fans debate it, artists reference it in lyrics, and the saga of YSL continues to unfold, not just in courtrooms, but in the streets, on social media, and through every track that drops from either side. In the end, Gunna's "Yes Ma'am" moment is more than a clip. It's a symbol of survival under pressure, a lightning rod for controversy, and a lens through which the public measures loyalty, strategy, and street sense. It shows just how complicated it is to navigate the legal and cultural storm surrounding YSL, and it leaves everyone asking, in the battle between loyalty and self-preservation, who really comes out on top?